are just some things that people don't share with you when you start your healing journey. And I mean, healing your relationship with food, healing your mental health. Like, there's just some things people don't talk about, but I'm going to talk about them in a second with you. The last 12 days have been very interesting and definitely not what I thought would happen, so let's talk about it. For the last 12 days, I have been doing a carnivore challenge. I am participating in World Carnivore Month. I have done keto before this, and I have had a heck of a time with mental health, and it reared its ugly head again this week. So the last 12 days have been kind of a ride, but I first want to go over the first 8 or 9 days because those are pretty fantastic. The first week of carnivore went pretty freaking well. I had some food aversions, which I have told you guys about before, but I kind of changed up how I was cooking things, what kind of meats I was having, and it helped a little bit. I still had aversions to like ground beef. Did not sound appetizing to me whatsoever. And at one point, I just literally did not want to eat any meat. So then I went towards like carnivore pancakes, carnivore chaffles. I just kind of ate more breakfast food. I had a few more eggs. I just really got away from the actual meat for a few meals, and that actually helped quite a bit. So I felt like the food aversions were at bay for a while. And then I shared with you guys Carnivore on the Road. That was my road trip, very impromptu. And I shared with you my struggle in that road trip because I was tired and I was really wanting to give in to the easy, but I did not. And it was actually fairly easy not to give in to it, which was actually surprising for me. So that was a really, really, really huge win for me. I also, I could tell that I was in ketosis. I was having those symptoms of ketosis, having more energy, peeing a lot, and just being more focused. And I felt like all the water weight was kind of, just washing away. So that was kind of one of the best pros, was actually being in ketosis again and feeling that way. Which, if you've never been in ketosis, you guys, it's a phenomenal feeling that I think everyone should feel at least once in their life for at least like a 30-day stint. It's amazing. And then along with it, besides how I was feeling, I also did lose 3.5 pounds. I think I weighed myself on day 8. So the first 8 days, I lost 3.5 pounds, which is water weight, but it's still weight, which I was very excited about. But I was also really excited about how my clothes were fitting, because that's something that I focus on a lot more than the scale, is how my clothes are fitting and how I'm feeling. Those non-scale victories are just really important to me. And before I even weighed myself, those were things that kept me going on the right path, more so than the weight loss. Then the last 3 days happened.
Good evening, friends. It is day 9 of the World Carnivore Month 30-day Carnivore Challenge. I posted in my community group on YouTube that I was really struggling mentally today, which I really was. It was a pretty good day until the evening time hit, and then emotions and things flooded. My mental health kind of took a wreck. So I'll be honest with you, today was not a carnivore day for me, and it makes my heart sad because I know that I can do better, and I'm trying to do better. But I am going to pick up tomorrow and start again. I'm not going to let today knock me down, because I really did eat my emotions today, which I'm trying to work on, but can't expect perfection only 9 days in. So
January is the month that my dad passed away in, and he passed away, it will be 8 years ago this year. And grief is a funny thing. Some years it passes me by, other years it hits me like a ton of bricks, and lo and behold, this year it hit me like a ton of bricks. Yeah, so I have no coping mechanisms for grief. I have things that I do for anxiety, for depression. I have nothing set up for grief. And when that kind of wave of grief washed over me, I didn't really know where to turn. I did my deep breathing, my grounding, but grief is just so deep. I feel like anxiety is pretty superficial and very much in the moment. Depression is different, but grief is just something that like it just hits really different and it sits different. If you're somebody who has lost a loved one, I'm sure you understand what I mean, that grief just feels a lot heavier and a lot harder to kind of climb yourself out of. So I turned to the only coping mechanism that I have had for 30 years, and that is filling that hole in my heart with food. And no, I did not do it with steak. I wish I had, but I didn't. I did it with non-carnivore, non-keto, all junk food. And I knew that I needed to figure something out because I can't keep going down this path. I need something, because grief is going to happen. I have a lot of grief in my life. I've lost a lot of people in my life, and different times of the years trigger that. So January is one month that I know I will get triggered in, usually April and then June. There's just times throughout the year where I know that I'm triggered specifically by grief, and I need to set up better mechanisms and habits in order to not completely fall off the wagon again. Luckily, I had therapy that next day, and my therapist and I kind of came up with a game plan of steps I can take and things I can do when that grief is kind of bubbling up. We also went over some more subtle things that I tend to miss when grief is coming up. I can misconstrue it with anxiety and depression, and by the time it's already built up here, it's not those things. It's grief, and it's ready to explode, right? So I'm very fortunate that I had a session with her and we came up with a game plan, and I've actually had to use that game plan today because for whatever reason, I don't remember what brought it up again, but I was thinking about my dad and having these thoughts of, well, it would just be easier to order McDonald's for lunch instead of doing X, Y, and Z. You know, I kind of in my head went through the list of things that we had talked about, and I did them and it worked. So this is one of the things that truly knocked me off of my feet last year, because I started therapy last year and we started bringing up things such as grief. And when you're healing from mental health, from trauma, from grief, from, disordered eating, and you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to deal with your mental health, it gets so much worse before it gets better. And I have heard people say that, and I did not believe them. It gets so much worse because you are taught to feel your feelings. I don't feel my feelings well. I don't feel grief well. I am not a fan of it. I don't like the feeling of being sad like that and feeling out of control. And again, the only way I know how to do that is stuff my face. So if you followed me last year, I gained all of the weight back that I had lost, and having terrible coping mechanisms is the number one reason I gained it all back. It's because we started digging into trauma. We started talking about my feelings, talking about my resentments, talking about my regrets. And it just brought up a lot of stuff I didn't know how to deal with, and I ate my feelings, and I did not know how to get out of it until I climbed my way back out of it myself. So with her help, of course, and my support system. I didn't do it all by myself, but nobody knows what's going on in here truly. So just remember that. Yeah, these are just things that I feel like people don't tell you along your healing journey. When you're healing from all of these different things, other crap is gonna come up and completely knock you off your feet. I don't mind talking about my grief and my losses, and I don't mind sharing with you guys that this week was a really crappy week. I did not feel well mentally. I felt terrible physically because of what I ate, and I felt bad. It was not a bad week, but it was a bad couple of days. And I am making this video today. I wanted to do it yesterday. However, I knew I was not in the mental headspace for it. So I'm making it today because I am back on track. Today was a very, very good day. And I'm feeling much better mentally, especially having a plan in place. I feel a lot better to tackle the grief when it comes again. Because it will. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I just need to be better prepared for it when it does come. If you're somebody who uses food as a coping mechanism, like I am, it's the only thing that makes me feel full when I am missing, that piece of my life. I am here with you. I have struggled with it my entire life, and I'm finally ready to do something about it, and that's not going to be easy. This brain has been wired for 30 years to not feel my feelings, and instead of feel my feelings, shove my face full of food. And that is going to change because it needs to. So yeah, we're back on track, feeling a heck of a lot better. Obviously, the sadness is still there. It's been 8 years without one of my favorite people. I'm not gonna cry. I've cried enough. Today, at least. I'll give myself some more time tomorrow. But yeah, it's hard. It sucks. And it's not easy. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like the last 2 days have been easy. They've been absolute BS. And I hated how I felt emotionally and physically. So enough is enough, and we need to talk about it more. We need to talk about how much grief and mental health and depression and anxiety, they completely consume your health journey. That's why I posted that little poll the other day, because that was the day I was really struggling, and I was like, anybody else struggle this much and it completely knocks you off? Like, I feel like most people don't have those struggles, when in reality they do, they just don't share them. So here I am to share them with you. Thank you guys so much, and I hope that you guys are doing well on your health journeys. I am excited for next week and looking forward to it. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.